right. Hopefully folks can see that all right. So good morning. I feel like it is an honor to be part of the garden class educational series. If you look at my background, this is my garden that I aspire to. It is not my real garden. My real garden is much smaller, but we all do what we can, right, with what we have. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about Nopales, a little bit about my program, and at the end there's going to be a lovely Latina woman named Alma who's going to teach us how to cook Nopales. So I will be joining you 3 other times. And I would love you to think about what other foods you'd like to learn to cook or what other foods you'd like to learn more about in a nutritional way. And let me know that, because I want to teach to you, with you, things that you're interested in. So that makes it more fun for me if the audience is involved in the decision making about what we learn about, right? So I invite you to think about that and let either Sonia or Sarah know what you'd like us to talk about. Alrighty, so that's who I am. I am a registered dietitian. You probably know that term from the clinic. Jamali Austin's a dietitian. Don Pavley's a dietitian. So lots of dietitians in tribal health, which is good. This is a little bit about me. So CalFresh is the new brand for a program that has been around for decades federally. It's been known as food stamps, and it's been known as the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. And now it's called CalFresh. California loves to rename everything coming from the federal government, which is kind of fun and really confusing for people. So I just thought you might want to know where I sit in the CalFresh family. So down here, CalFresh food is food stamps. So that's the actual food. I have the privilege of teaching anybody who's eligible for food stamps a lot about healthy living. So food, nutrition, gardening, physical activity, all those fun things. CalFresh also does job training. And then the one other thing that's important for all of us is CalFresh also, anybody, regardless of income, is eligible for food stamps after a disaster. So I say that as we come into fire season, and if you know, I always hope that we don't have fires. But if you know anybody who's been through a disaster, then they get food stamps as well. So I think that's a best kept secret that I want to get out into the world. All right, so I sort of mentioned this, but I'm going to do it away. So this is what I hope you learned today. There's going to be 3 different ways to cook Nopales, and if you don't know what that is, you'll certainly know what that is by the end of our time together. You'll learn the nutritional benefits of Nopales. And then I wanted to let you know of a resource I find really, really helpful for eating well in a both nutritional sense and a cooking sense. So Choose My Plate is a great resource for budget, cooking on a budget. They have a 10-tip series, how to get your kids to eat more vegetables, how to eat on a budget, quick snacks on the go, things about fruits, things about vegetables. So you go ahead and check out this resource. And before I forget to tell you, Sonia is also going to send you this PowerPoint later today, so you don't need to write anything down. You'll have it that you can download yourself. Okay, so I hope folks have seen this, and this is the new model of the basic 4 food groups. Basically, that was my age generation when I was in elementary school. So this is what we're teaching the kids now. And I think the most important thing to take away, and something that I have to think about every day, because just because I'm a registered dietitian doesn't mean that it comes easier to me. I still have to be motivated, and I still have to remember, try to make half of your plate fruits or vegetables. That is the key to longevity and quality of life. So And I actually think that more vegetables are better. So I put my vegetables over here, or I eat my fruits separately as a snack and just have half the plate's vegetables. And that's what I love about gardening, because it's so much easier. Once you plant the stuff in the spring, then it's just fun and easy to go out in the garden and just get whatever needs to be picked and eat it. And so I find it's much easier to fill half my plate with vegetables. And I love going to the garden because I don't like to go into the grocery store. So that's a benefit for me. All right. Lastly, before we start the videos, there's 2 books that I want to tell you about. The first one is a great children's book that teaches kids about my plate. So it can be your kids, your grandkids, nieces and nephews, any kids at all. And in a quick book review way, the little girl has trouble trying new foods. And so the family, especially the older brother, encourages his little sister to at least try 2 bites of the new food. And as one might suspect, once the girl tries the new food after having 2 bites, of course she loves it. And that goes on about 5 or 6 times in the book. And then they are all a happy family at the end, knowing about my plate and fruits and vegetables and the 2 Bite Club. So here's the website for that. You can download it. It's free. And it's also in Spanish if you know any families that might like that. That's in English and Spanish. So that's the kids' book. And now here is, oh, it's blurry. But anyway, my gift to you, I should say, for participating today is this cookbook. And so that's why Sarah's on, right, Sarah? So anyway, what I love most about this cookbook is it's written for people on a food stamp budget. You eat well on $4 a day. It's all real food. And Leanne Brown, the author at the beginning, actually talks a little bit about cooking in a way of teaching you what you need to buy and what you need to have in your kitchen and your pantry to cook well. And then she has just delicious recipes with beautiful pictures in them, and I use this cookbook all the time. So I'm gonna run over to Tribal Health and drop off the books this afternoon, and Sonia will be telling you how you'll get them. I think it's gonna be through email.
Yeah, if you wanna post your email on the group chat, and then I'll write that down and get a hold of you.
Nice. All right, and just Sonia and Tiz, I forget to tell you, I'm bringing a bunch of them over, so for the whole series, right? For people that join in the other times as well.
Okay, great, thank you.
Yeah, great. All right, so Nopales, here we go, fun. So if you don't know what Nopales are actually a cactus, as you can see from the picture, and they're native to Mexico, Central America. They are usually added to eggs in a steak stir fry. They're roughly the size of your hand. I walk around Lakeport a lot, and I've seen nopales in neighborhood gardens pretty regularly, so they can grow here. In the Tribal Health Family Garden, didn't you all have nopales? I'm trying to remember before you moved it. I think you did.
Yes, I had to get to the mute button.
Okay, yeah, sorry.
I was like, it's not unmuting. Yes, we do have some, a little bit there.
And then will they stay there? Because they probably, it looked like it was really old. I mean, not old in a beautiful way. Like it wasn't just planted.
It was very mature. Yes.
Mature. Thank you. I can just start describing myself that way. Mature. Yes. Instead of old.
No. Yeah, but they moved it over to the new garden site at Legacy. It's kind of we saved some of it, and we're going to get different kinds of cactus for people to use and harvest. So.
Oh, fabulous. Oh, I'm so glad you guys moved it. Phenomenal. Lovely. So at the end, when you all are, I'm going to open the mics for questions, and I just would love to hear if you've actually already cooked nopales or if this is new for you. But they are found in Mexico, probably brought here conquistadors who knows the history. So there you have Nopales. This one is obviously in bloom. Those are its flowers. And now we'll move on to the nutritional benefits. So perhaps some of you know this if you're familiar with Nopales. It's a long list of remedies and medicinal qualities. And it's probably a shorter version about what it doesn't do. It aids in digestion, helps to prevent different kinds of cancers. It has calcium and other magnesium for building strong bones. It can help with sort of intestinal regularity, so it can help reduce symptoms of diarrhea or constipation. It's also known to relieve insomnia, so if you're having trouble sleeping, it might be a good, certainly couldn't hurt to fix some Nopales for dinner and see if that helps you get to sleep a little better. And probably important for all of us, it has a lot of ability to regulate one's blood sugar. So that's really good for type 2 diabetics. This is just a list of all the great micro and macronutrients it has. It's a good list: riboflavin, B6, copper, iron, fiber, vitamins A, C, K. I mentioned the calcium and the magnesium for bones. Potassium is really good for our heart, and manganese. I actually wanted to talk a little bit more about the diabetes. It's unfortunate that Native American population's diabetes rate is always 2 to 3 times that other ethnicities. So it's a beautiful thing that the prickly pear cactus is powerful regulator of glucose. So it can reduce a spike in the glucose levels. So if you eat too much of it, it could actually make you hypoglycemic. That's what I want to. So just introduce it in your diet slowly if you are having blood sugar issues. And then it's also here, it said don't consume it a lot before an operation. So, and if there's other health concerns, I'm just happy to chat with you individually or one of the dietitians at the clinic. But alrighty. So if you're all ready, any questions, we can jump into the video where Alma's actually shows us. All right. Okay. So we're going to learn 3 different ways to cook Nopales. And this is also her recipe. So if you can come to this page, which will be in the PowerPoint that you'll send it to you. It has the recipe written down here for all the 3 different recipes. So, okay, I'm going to check that this sounds up. Let me see, get to the big screen. Here we go.
Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm a recipe. Today I'm going to teach you how to make cactus the way my mom and my grandma taught me from scratch. Cactus nopales. As you know, I grew up in Mexico, and my main food was nopales and bean. So I have some in my garden, so we can go cut some of it. So I'm going to tell you how to do 3 different ways. It's a lot of different ways you can use nopales. So vamos a empezar. Follow me. So there we have the nopales, guys. This is a baby nopal, so that's what we want. We don't want these big ones. As you see, I have a lot of them here. I'm going to just choose probably 6 nopales out of this one. Alright guys, so it's a different way you can get the nopales. You can get it like that and peel it yourself. Also you can get it like that in the store, which is already square off. You can buy it in the store and it looks like that. It's less easy. Okay guys, to peel a cactus, you always have to top to bottom, and then after you peel this part, you're going over here, and the way is because if the cactus is a little crooked, this one is really easy because the spray is not a problem. But when it's a little crooked, if you peel a little bit and then you work your way out, you cut in the size. So when you cut in the size, you cut this little part, like for example, I'm cutting this part, and because I don't have nothing here, I can grab it from here for me not poking my finger. And then I just work my way out to cut all this in the side. and just work the way out. Sometimes a little bit more hard when the little cricket, but find a way if you have the chance to fill your own nopales. But today everything is so easy. You can go to the store and buy already peeled. But when I grew up, I had to peel my own nopales. So after I already cut my nopales, I want to rinse it up. And the reason why I have a little splinter here or something, a little here, and also because I got it from my backyard, so I can take out the dirt really quick. So that way doesn't get really torn. And it's so nice and clean, you see. Okay, guys, as you can see, this is my daughter's first nopal peeler. And this is me, the champion. Because I have been doing this since I was little girl. But she did great. She didn't get any splinter in her finger. Okay, guys, so now after we peel our nopal, we had two different ways we can cut it. I had to distract in the store. You're gonna find it cut it like that, which is kind of not my favorite. Also, you're going to find it in the store like that. Like you see, this is different. So this is my French nopal. My favorite way to cut it is square, little square. So what I do is just do it this way, then flip it this way, cut it like little square. If you want to cut it that way, you do the same thing, but all you do is divide in different, if you want to cut it big. So that's how you will cut it and have a different size, you see. You will need 1.5 pounds of nopales or 6 cups of nopales, 4 green onions, half a bunch of cilantro, 4 garlic, a quarter an onion, 4 tablespoons of olive oil or any oil of choice, 1 tablespoon of oregano, 2 teaspoons of salt, 2 cups of water, and optional you'll need 4 chiles if you want with a little bit of kick. I'm gonna cook my nopales for 20 minutes at medium heat. I just add the onion, the garlic, and now I'm gonna add 2 cups of water. So I just add 2 cups of water. You can cook it without water, but you have the reason sometimes you have to stir it too long. But I think if you put the water, it just be fine. Just cook it for 20 minutes at medium heat, and now we need to add the salt. Just gonna add half a teaspoon of salt. All right, guys, so I know I'm teaching you guys how to cook nopales. So this is just the first step that you also need it. Every time you cook nopales, this is how you're going to start. Always add onions and garlic. That just give it a little bit of kick and that salt. And add some water and cook it for 20 minutes. And then from there, we move to the second step. So you can make a lot of different recipes, but always that's the step you have to do. Cook the nopales, and this is how it looks. So for my first recipe, I'm gonna need 4 onions. Just gonna cut it small, just like this far. Gonna cut it. And we're gonna use the whole thing. And we're gonna leave that. So that's my onions. So after that, I'm going to move on with my cilantro. Just gonna fold it in half. And I'm gonna use the stem and everything. Just gonna cut it. In a bowl. And remember, guys, this is optional because sometimes it can really spicy. If you like spicy, use the chilies. And if you don't have to. You can skip the part. But I'm going to use it because it gives it a really good flavor. Just going to cut it too. And I can tell this chili is really spicy because the beans is a little bit red. Now I'm going to cut my 2 garlics, small pieces. You can cut it like that, but if you have one of these, you can use one of these and just squeeze it. And I'm just gonna put it right here. So that will be all the ingredients. All right, guys, I'm gonna check my nopales, and this is how it looks. You see how they used to be green, now they change in color. So we're just gonna leave it on. If you put your timer, just cook it for 20 minutes. Once in a while, just come and stir it, and it should be fine. And here I have the other ones, what I put after. This one already changed color. This one is almost changing full color. Then I have this one over here. I just kind of have to stir all over. Make sure the onions and the garlic are down so they all cook perfectly. Okay, guys, it's been 20 minutes. My first batch of nopales is ready. So it's right here. And to this point, I'm just going to turn it up. And then I'm going to just rinse it up. As you see, it has changed color. It's perfect, and we're just gonna have to grab it, move it, or you can let it cool down, but I'm not going to. Drain it, remove the onions. I'm not going to use one anymore. It was just to cook it. So I put the garlic. I remove this one. This is no longer needed. So I'm not going to rinse it. I'm just going to drain, and that's about it. So you're always gonna cook the nopales first, and we already did that step. So this is the step we're gonna fry them. So I'm just gonna put 4 tablespoons. 4. You can use less if you want, but 4 will be plenty. After I put my oil here, I don't even heat it up. I don't need. Just gonna add my nopales here. And we are going to cook it for 15 minutes. Very simple. We're gonna stir it. We're gonna do that at medium heat. All right, guys. So this point, I'm just gonna add my garlic, my 2 garlic, already chopped. I'm gonna add my onions, cilantro, chile. I'm gonna add 1 tablespoon of oregano. So I'm just gonna add this oregano. Let's stir it. Now I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of salt and let's stir it. All right, guys, my recipe has been cooking for 15 minutes. To this point, we're gonna stop it. And this one is done. You can make like tacos of captains or tacos of nopales. You can add some rice, beans, or whatever. You only need 1.5 pounds or 6 cups of nopales, 4 onions, green onions, half a bunch of cilantro, 1/4 onion, 4 garlics, 4 potatoes, 2 tomatoes, 2 cups of water, 4 tablespoons of olive oil or any oil you have, 2 teaspoons of salt. All right, guys, I have 4 potatoes. See, I'm just gonna peel them. So at the same time you put them to cook the nopales, you should cook your potatoes so be all done at the same time. Just gonna cut it in half, and I'm just gonna cut it like kind of little square. They're all the same, so they all cook at the same time. We're only gonna cook it for 20 minutes, so they'll be cooked quite fast. You can use any potatoes you choose. You can use red, you can use white, you can use brown. I have my potatoes here. I have 4 potatoes. I come out like 2.5 cups of potatoes. I'm just gonna add 2 cups of water. Basically, what we needed is to cover everything up, like not like potatoes coming up. Just cover with water, and that'll be plenty. 1 teaspoon of salt, and then we're just gonna let it cook for 20 minutes. We're just gonna cut the onion, the same thing, green onions, otherwise to the green stuff. 4 onions, that's the only thing we need. And then we're gonna move it on to our tomatoes. We are going to need 2 tomatoes. Make sure you rinse it before. So we're just gonna always cut this part when I cut it in half. We're gonna cut it like a very small squares. Same thing, we're gonna put it in here. 2 medium tomatoes, that's all we need. We move it with that cilantro, it's half a bunch of cilantro. 2 garlics, smash it, put it in here, and here. All right, guys, my potatoes are done. They've been cooking like for like 22 minutes. You can use between 20 to 25 minutes. Like they're really soft, so I'm just gonna turn it up. So this one, I'm just gonna drain it. There. I'm just gonna add 4 tablespoons of olive oil. To this point, I'm not gonna even let it heat up the oil. I'm just gonna add my nopales. Stir it. Add my tomatoes, add my onions, add my cilantro, garlic, half a teaspoon of salt, stir it. I'm gonna cook it at medium heat for 10 minutes. All right, guys, so my nopales been cooking for 10 minutes, and I already have my potatoes. It's been here already cooked, so I'm just gonna add it. I'm just gonna cook it for 7 more minutes, and my recipe will be done. All right, guys, so this is my second recipe. It's captains with potatoes, and it's done. So I'm cooking it for 17 minutes, and it's time to turn it off, and it's ready to enjoy. You'll need 1.5 pounds or 6 cups of nopales, 4 onions, green onions, half a bunch of cilantro, quarter an onion, half onion, 1 cup of tomatoes, any tomatoes you have or like it. I have little ones. 4 tablespoons of olive oil or any oil you have. 2 teaspoons of salt. 2 cups of water. 4 chiles if you want with a little bit of kick, and 2 garlics. So this is my third recipe, and I'm still using some onions. A little bit of quarter on cilantro. And this is optional. The chili is optional. If you want to spice it with a little bit of kick, I'm gonna use 4. Okay, so we got that. So I'm gonna add my 4 tablespoons of olive oil, and or you can use less if you wish. So I already drained my nopales. I'm just gonna add it. I'm not gonna even let my oil heat up very hard. Like I can add my nopales. I'm just gonna give it a little bit of stir, and we are going to cook our nopales for 15 minutes. We are going to add green onions. If you don't have green onions, you can just use white onion, brown onion. I like the green onion because it gives it a good kick. I am going to add my cilantro. Cilantro is always good. And I have my chiles here, 1 teaspoon of salt. And we're just gonna cook it for 15 minutes, and that'll be all. And stir it once in a while. For my third recipe, I have this small tomato, but you can use regular tomatoes, whatever tomatoes you have. So I'm just gonna need 1 cup of tomato. I'm just gonna chop it in small pieces. Because this is gonna eat like a salad. When I eat a lot of, and you can make nopales with a lot of different recipes. You can make it with eggs. You can make it with meat, green salsa, red salsa. There's so many ways. Also, they say nopales are really good for you, healthy-wise. All right, guys. So now the second thing we're going to do, we're gonna cut cilantro, and this one we're gonna have like I think it can be like half a cup of cilantro. And here we are. We're gonna need half an onion, medium onion, and we're just gonna chop it really small. Just half a cup. All right, guys, so my tamales are cooking for 50 minutes. At this point, I'm just gonna turn it up and let it cool down so I can add my ingredients. I already cooled down my nopales for 15 minutes before I add my stuff. So I'm gonna add like half a cup of cilantro, 1 cup of tomato, half a cup of onions, and I'm just gonna stir it. If you wish. Like I said again, there's so many ways to make it. If you have some avocado, you can add some avocado. So this is gonna be like kind of like a salad. So we're just gonna stir it and it'll be ready to eat. Mix everything together like really Mexican colors. All right, guys, so it's me. I'm here again. I just made 3 different recipes for you guys, captains, nopales, but I just made 3 different ways. So give you ideas, you guys, to use captains. I grew up eating a lot of those things. Hopefully you enjoy and you try. So hasta la vista.
That was very interesting. Thank you.
All right. So it's funny being virtual. I don't know about you guys, but now I really want to taste one of those recipes. So the downside of food demonstration in a COVID-19 virtual world. Anyway, I'm motivated to find some nopales now and try one of those. My favorite part was all 3 of the recipes she uses a lot of the same ingredients. So it's repetition, and I always learn better with repetition. So in closing for me, I just wanted to again invite you to let me know what other foods you would like to learn to cook or learn more about nutritionally. So you can do that through Sarah or Sonia. And I look forward to hearing what you think about your cookbooks as well. So I'll just close with any questions, asking for any questions.
I saw one person posted they wanted to eggplant.
Oh, great.
Learn
Okay.
eggplant. So that would be good.
All right, lovely.
And I wanted to say that if anybody comes to pick up their cookbook here, we do have some cactus that's been frozen. So I have enough for probably maybe about 5 people to take 2 or 3 leaves. So they can try making nopales at home. So if you pick that up or pick up your cookbook, and then I can give you some cactus. So
Fabulous. Lovely. Okay. Unless I hear otherwise, we probably will talk about eggplant next time. So
It
All
was
right.
wonderful.
very much,
Thank you.
Barbara. It was a
Oh.
very informative class. I actually didn't realize that if you eat too much cactus that you could actually go hypoglycemic. So that's
Oh, thank you for sharing what you learned, Sarah. Nice.
That was interesting. Thank you very much.
All right, everybody. Thank you. Have a nice weekend. Be sure to remember to water your garden. You might need to twice a day watering with 102 temperatures that are predicted.
right.
Yes, yes.
Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Thank you.
Barbara.
All right, my pleasure.
And
All right. See
one-
you all.
Okay.
Happy gardening.
Yes,
All right.
thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Okay, just you and I. Thank you very much. That was good. Those recipes looked really good. And yeah, I noticed that she used a lot of the same recipe or a lot of the same.
Right, like you could go to the store in the next week and you could remember 4 green onions, a
Right.
bunch of cilantro, 2 garlics, a quarter of an onion. So that like they
Right.
were all the same except one time she added tomatoes and then the other time she added tomatoes and potatoes and
Yeah.
yeah. So I don't know. I always remember when I'm for myself and when I'm teaching adult learners, right?
Uh-huh.
We have to hear something 6 times before we actually know it. So
And how
be
many
patient with
times is it for
be
kids?
patient with yourself, be patient with others.
Yeah.
And so I just, again, and I've seen that video, I don't know, 3 or 4 times.
Right. Yeah. Great.
Yeah, it was fun. So,
I wanna-
all right, you did great, right?
Trying. I forgot to hit record, but on part of it, just at the very, very beginning for my introduction. In fact, I need to stop it right now. So